Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 368. My name is Brando. This is going to be a fun episode, I think. A lot of 6 degrees of Guns N' Roses bacon. We're going to talk about Pär from Sabaton, about his favorite bands. But I need to introduce, I don't know, I was thinking about how I should introduce who first, but I guess I have to go with my guest du jour, Pär. How are you, sir, from Sabaton Par's Sunstrom? Am I saying that correctly with my terrible New York accent?
Yes, you're saying it. It's fine. Thank you so much. And I'm doing great. We have entered America since about a week. We have pulled off 3 shows so far. They've all been great, and I think we have acclimatized to the time zone, and we no longer fall asleep at 7 o'clock in the evening just before showtime.
Mm.
But we are actually good and excited when the time comes to enter the stage, and everybody's in good mood. We are kind of on a let's say a little bit back with a vengeance revenge trip, because the last trip that we did to America was cut short due to the sad thing that happened to the Judas Priest guitar player Richie, who had a
Mm.
heart failure on the stage, and we all had to pack our bags and go home and end the tour after only 3 out of 8 weeks or something. So we're kind of super excited. It's like a little bit revenge for us to be back in here.
And so you just did a couple shows in Portland, right? Is that where you are right now?
Today we're in Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
And yeah, but we started in Seattle, and we played 2 shows in Portland, and yesterday we came here, and today in a few hours we go on the stage. Oh, I go start warming up once we finish talking here.
Okay. Okay. Do you have like a favorite do you have a favorite city to play in? Because I'm jealous. I have to, my wife gets so mad at me. I am so behind with getting my passport because we want to go to places like Sweden, a beautiful country. But you obviously you've been around the world. So do you have a particular city that you love playing in when you're here?
In the States, I mean, I think we never have been able to say that this city is the most fun to play, or so. I think it depends a lot on the tour. Each tour is very unique here, and each time we come to cities, presents a unique opportunity. I think it has to do with are we playing on a Saturday night or a Monday night? Are we what kind of venue? Is it packed? Is it so there's a lot of, let's say, potential variables in order to make the perfect show here. We had awesome gigs in the States, um, but I don't think that they are like connected to a certain place or something. They are more spread out, and different for each tour.
Okay. Okay. I was hoping. I mean, you can always, if you were gonna be like a homer and just suck up, you can say New York because that's where I am. That's where Zachary is, my co-host. But that's fine. That was kind of my segue into it. So I want to introduce my co-host for today, who I am almost as excited to talk to. You know what? I'm as excited as Zachary is on par with Pär of who I want to talk to. It is. So I've been away. It's funny, Par. You were mentioning about time zones and when you're awake and everything. So, long story short, this past week I've been covering for morning show producer at Q1043 in New York City, and the program director there, Eric Wellman, is a very nice man. I've known him for a few years. I do some board hopping there. I do a lot of things for iHeart, but we always talk music, and he's always talking about his kids. He loves his kids, and he's telling me about his kid Zach. And he's like, Zach, we're talking about like, because we're talking about like what music he's getting into, because obviously it's a classic rock station. He's like, but Zach, he loves this band out of Sweden that's just like this, almost like a Viking metal, and he's like, have you ever heard of Sabaton? I was like, yeah, I actually have an interview opportunity with them coming up. How old's your son again? 12? You know what? Does he want to hang out? And I'm telling you, Par, we should have filmed it, Zach. The other day when your dad had us on FaceTime and I said like this is official, this interview is happening, it was just his face dropped. Like he loves you guys. So I mean I don't want to fill in what I don't want to speak for you, Zach. I don't know if you want to say anything to Par, if you have any questions yet, because he is a diehard fan.
I'm just like speechless right now.
That's okay, buddy.
That's okay, buddy.
I was just listening to you guys before we got on.
What were you listening to?
Which song? Which song were you?
On like YouTube music and stuff. Just, and my phone right here playing the music, and then my computer just playing War Thunder.
All right.
Like an hour
nice.
or two straight.
Hour two straight. Nice. Well, this is a perfect setup then, because what Par has done and Sabaton has done, and Zach, you and I were talking about this before this interview. You guys are making a movie. I mean, it's not just like you get to listen to a song. So can you tell us about the war to end all wars? How did I guess when did the thought process start to make a movie? Did it come with the album or did it come after? Take us back to how we got here.
I mean, I think that the idea of the movie was started pretty early, even before the album was completely recorded, and it takes some time to pull it together and pull it off, and the pandemics was not helping, but I won't tell so much more about this because the movie is coming in 2023, and there'll be plenty of time to talk about that ahead. And we got so much other interesting things coming up earlier. You're not gonna have to wait long before you get new music from Sabaton. So even we just put a new album out, you're just gonna be pretty surprised in the next few days about something that nobody knew was coming. So now I kind of spoiled that idea a little bit, but so we got plenty of things coming before the movie that I think people has to be excited about. And then I guess we get on the phone or on the video again and talk about the movie in the next year, and then we'll see where that takes us.
Where does the creativity come from? Because you can just be a musician and just you're one of the biggest metal bands in the world, representing your country proud, but you can just stick with that. But going back and reading, you're such an intelligent guy with your marketing background and your business background. Was that always the case for you? Did you always think big since you were a little Par, since you were Zach's age?
I think that I always had ambitions. So if I would build Lego, I would build the biggest thing, the biggest castle, or the biggest spaceship. And when I built 3 houses, I wanted to build 3 castles and these kind of things. So I was always quite ambitious. I thought always that whatever I want to do, I want to take it to the as far as it can be taken. Because I don't know, I sort of felt that I was a bit wasting time if I was not doing something good. So I think it was always within me, but it became more and more clear over the years. And you start a band when you're Zach's age, and then it's all just for fun, and it's important to keep in mind. But some years down the line, then you need to do something with the band. You need to get a gig. You need to have a graphical design. You need to have a video or something. And then, I guess at some point I realized that nobody else is gonna do that. So if that's gonna happen, we have to pull ourselves together and do it ourselves. And it became like that, and it's been like that, and it's still like that. We don't expect somebody to do anything for Sabaton. So if something's gonna happen with the band, we do it ourselves. That's why we have everything under our own wings, so to say. We don't have an external management, and I'm happy for that, because I think that we have been guided or offered guidance plenty of times, which I disregarded as stupid, and it shows down the line that it was the right decision not to listen to others. I mean, the entire US adventure started with everybody telling us that it was a stupid idea to go to America from the beginning. And I called that bluff, and I called that I don't trust that. And we changed. I mean, a lot of bands, they, like let's say European melodic metal bands, they told us like, hey, we tried to go to the US, you get to play these shitty clubs, and you make no money, and it doesn't make any sense. It's better to focus on Europe. That's what we all do, and that's what's working, and stuff like that. We changed the whole thing. We went to America as a supporting act again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So until in the end, people were saying that Sabaton is so boring because it's the eternal support band. The fans did not say that. No fans said we were boring. Only the promoters and the industry people said that Sabaton will never be anything else than a trustable, reliable support band. And then boom, we're touring as headliners, selling out venues. And a lot of people are like, how? Where did that come from? And now our colleagues who gave up on America 10, 15 years ago are asking us, what was the secret? How did you do it? And I say, well, we didn't listen to the people who said it could not be done. We heard it, and then we did it. We just did it differently than other people. And it worked out.
You believed in yourself. That's you bet on yourself. You know, that's amazing. Those are good lessons, Zach. You got to believe in yourself. You know, not listen to your parents, but also listen to yourself. I gotta also ask this because Zach's a big hockey player, and when I think of Sweden, I think of metal and I think of hockey. So I want to go back. Were you a young hockey player? Like, what made you go this path? Like,
no, I never played a hockey. Of course, as a kid, it was like this. You know, in the winter we had, there was ice on every lake, and we did play hockey every day. That's we did that, but not professionally, of course, but just for fun. And I think all the kids I grew up in a little town, the hometown of Sabaton, Falun, and in the area where I grew up. As soon as there were ice, we on the lakes, we were out there the next day with our skates, and we were playing ice hockey, and we just did. Everybody was there and having fun, and so that was the winter. And when when in the summer when there was no ice, we were swimming, and so it was just we were out a lot, and I loved sports my whole life. But I never became a hockey player. I think that sport was not for me. I had another favorite sport that I still have, and that was cross country skiing. That was my favorite sport, and that's where I really wanted to do that as a kind of a career, and I was really promising for many years, and then unfortunately I did not. At some point, all my friends and colleagues and competition guys or whatever, they outgrew me. They become taller, and I didn't grow so much in my young teenage years. So suddenly I had to struggle a lot to keep up with them. I mean, they were eating like monsters, and I wasn't growing, and I was struggling a lot to catch up with them. And then I guess around there, heavy metal shows up to me and offering me a different path of life. And I choose that one then. But I never give up the love for skiing, so it's still my favorite sport.
Okay. Well, we're certainly glad you kept the path that you stayed on. Because I just want to see because I know Zach likes hockey, I like hockey, and I just want to make sure we're all bonding because we know we're having this moment right now.
I mean, I also, I mean, from where we are, there is a hockey team not far away from us, and we've done a lot of stuff together with them. They are in the highest league in Sweden, and we recorded like an intro for them once. We played in their games in the stadiums and arenas, and so we done some stuff with them over the years, and we endorsed them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been fun, and we also for quite some years we were endorsing ice hockey team. We were the main sponsors of an ice hockey team of 13-year-olds.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
they were playing the games in the jerseys of Sabaton and stuff like that.
Oh
And
man.
so it was more fun. I mean, when we did it with the top league team, it was actually a bit disappointing. We spent a lot of time. Let's say like this. We spent a lot of time writing and recording this intro for their intro of the games.
Okay.
We even had a couple of team members singing with us on the recording, and then they premiered it. It was like a big event. They premiered it, and we're gonna play after in the like in the bar. Like after we're gonna play a set, and so everything was loaded for this night. And unfortunately they played horrible that night and lost big time. And I mean, there's a lot of superstition, as you know, in a lot of the sportsmen. And
Yes.
some people, I don't know if it was the sportsman or if it was in the management team or if it was in the shareholders or whoever it was. But suddenly we were blamed for them losing. And they canceled that intro and said, it's gone now. So
After one
all
game?
that worked for nothing. Yeah, all that worked for nothing. And then when we saw the opposite thing and we sponsored the young team, the 13-year-olds, we saw that it had the complete opposite, because they actually cared about. They were proud, you know. The other teams that they were playing against, they were sponsored by, I don't know, local supermarket or local car tire or whatever they had. And then there's this team who was coming full blow on with the Sabaton jerseys, and they were so excited, and they won every year. They were the best in the league. So and then there was a new bunch of 13-year-olds, and we're like, here you go, this is your year's jerseys, and they won. And so
I love it.
It was a good collaboration, and then we felt we got something real back for that.
Sure.
When we did it with the real professional players, we saw that they didn't care at all, of course, and
Okay.
also the shareholders didn't like it. So you know, in the end, it was. I
don't know. Maybe
it was more
that's
fun
why
to-
Zach is here. It's fate. He's the demo. He's a 12-year-old hockey player. You know. Do you listen to Sabaton before games to practice?
They don't allow phones in the locker room.
Or what about at home
Oh.
before you go? What about at home? Are you like before your parents take you? You listen to Sabaton
I mean,
before?
definitely after, because you guys may or may not be the music I put on in the shower.
Okay.
I have a playlist
Okay.
of you guys, and then mixed in with there is a couple songs from the soundtrack of the video game from 2013 called Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Ooh.
All right.
It's like a
Cool.
pack and slash
You know,
game. Really good soundtrack.
it's pretty cool. I mean, but music and sports can go quite interesting together. I had a chance when we had because I love the skiing, and our hometown hosted the World Ski Championship a few years ago, and the top skiers from all over the world came to our hometown, and also the ski jumping, which I loved when I was a kid as well, and I still love. And they also came, and the number one ski jumper in the world. He was saying, he was an Austrian guy, and he said in the interview before that, like, hey, what are you most looking forward to that? And he was like, hey, it's the hometown of my favorite band, Sabaton. And we get a chance to, you know, hang out, and there was this interesting, I thought that always before they were jumping that they're gonna sit up there, you know, concentrate, take in all the emotions, listen to the sound of the wind and all of that, because it's so important that they just have to perfectly jump that one thing and win the competition. And I say, I don't really care. I put in my earphones and I put on Motorhead, and then I just jump and fly.
Nice. So as we're talking about, you know, some of your favorite bands, Zach's favorite band, I gotta ask. Obviously, we're on Appetite for Distortion. I've read that you've listed Guns N' Roses as one of your favorite bands. So I was hoping that maybe you can talk about your fandom. Have you ever gotten to meet any of the guys? Any 6 Degrees of GN'R Bacon stories from you, Pär?
I never got to meet them, and but it's pretty funny. I mean, this is appetite for the Use Your Illusion 2 tour. I had a ticket for, and my parents found it, and they forbid me to go.
Oh,
So I did a rebellious move, and I tattooed a Guns N' Roses tattoo all over my back. And
oh, I didn't know you had that.
yeah, well,
Can I ask you
yeah.
to undress? Is that inappropriate? Are you able to show it or no? You don't have to.
I
Okay, it's a G-rated show. It's okay.
it's a tiny tattoo. Well, not tiny, but it's such an old one that you can't almost see what's going on it anymore. But
Okay, he's lifting up his shirt.
it's
Oh yeah, you totally. It's the Guns and the Roses across your shoulder blades.
yeah.
Awesome.
So there's
Very cool.
I guess I did it, I don't know, 20 something years ago, and you almost don't see it anymore. So I've been thinking a lot about filling it in, and making it fresh.
Okay.
But it just didn't happen so far. So, but I was supposed to do it, and then my friend who is a tattoo artist died during the pandemic. So we thought we're gonna use that time for that, but she died.
I'm sorry to hear
So
that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, when you're ready, yeah, it looks good.
I'll think about it. Well, it doesn't look good.
It's a little faded, but I mean, for 20 years
Yeah.
old, I mean, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you set it up for it to look worse than it did. But
More than that. It's 25, 26, 27 years old, I guess.
wow. Well, so what do you think, Zach? In 6 years, you're gonna get a Sabaton tattoo?
Maybe.
Your dad's gonna
I
get so
don't
mad at me.
I mean, I'm probably gonna get a tattoo when I'm older. I just don't know what yet.
Okay. All right. You got plenty of time to
Yeah.
think about. But here's a question, though, Zach. I do want to ask him.
Comes
Maybe you do know.
naturally when you want it.
Yes. I didn't get my first one until 2021. And that was Use Your Illusion 1 on my left shoulder blade. So I also have Guns N' Roses tattoos as well. Zach, then let me ask you, unless you have any specific questions, do you have a favorite Sabaton song? Or maybe you want to have a question for Pär about a song that you have that is your favorite.
I don't have any questions about it, but I just love Screaming Eagles.
Oh, very cool.
Alright.
Very cool. We played it a few times on in America, and but we haven't played that one for a long time.
Okay. All right. Well, next time
We'll
you do
see.
play it, hopefully you dedicate it to Zach whenever you bring it out of the. Sorry, I'm embarrassing him. Pär, thank you so much. This was a real pleasure to speak with you. You're a really cool guy. It really is awesome what you're doing, not just with the music, but the historical messages and just learning, and just this era of almost a lost art of these metal bands that tell stories, and people have a certain perception of what metal is, and you guys really buck a lot of trends. Is there I know you said the movie's far away, and you said there's a thing that's a few days away that you can't say. What can you say that we can look forward to for Sabaton?
Right now, the tour that we are doing, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're doing that, but Sabaton is we are a very busy band. We run the History Channel, the festival Sabaton Open Air, the cruise Sabaton Cruise, and we're also running the Sabaton magazine, and I just proofread the new issue of that one, so it's gonna be launched in a few I don't know, a few weeks from now on. So there's a new issue of that coming, and we're always working on new different projects. So it's exciting. I think that Sabaton is so much more than a band, and we are fortunate that we can extend it with all these things that we're doing around the music. They wouldn't be possible without the music. So we won't forget about the songs and stuff like that. It's still the core of everything, but it's so exciting to do more about it. There is the opportunity. There is the music is there. The stories are there. All the rest, we can just imagination to do what we want with. And as Sabaton grow, and more fans join the band, and that also gives us new tools. I mean, some of these projects that we love so much and wanted to do so much, they take time and money, and as the band grows, we can launch more projects and more funny things that we dreamed about doing. And I think that's super exciting and one of the best things about being this band.
I think Sabaton fans are very lucky and spoiled, obviously, which I am. But as a Guns N' Roses fan, yes, they are. Well, soon going to be announcing the Use Your Illusion box set, finally. But we don't get a lot, and just the fact that
Yeah.
Sabaton is just like so much. It's just really cool to be a Sabaton fan. That's why Zach is cool, and I wanted him to hang out with us today. So, thank you, Zach, for being a good co-host. I appreciate you, buddy. Pär, anytime. I hope we get to do this again. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Let's talk about the movie next time. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. When will you see the next one? In the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, you'll see it. I don't know. Soon is the word.